so someone asked a question. Why do we sing? No, really, someone asked me a question about something Jeannie Mai said on The Reel, and I just wanted to answer that question. They asked me how I felt about a comment she made about bloggers who start their platform on their own not having credibility. And if I'm able to edit this video, I'll edit in and put what she said.
That was hilarious. Why are we so quick to believe sources?
Yeah. And why are we so quick to empower blogs and online news medias that people start themselves without any credibility? Yeah. And why are we so quick to empower blogs and online news medias that people start themselves without any credibility? So weird. I feel like if reputable media can't even give the facts properly, what makes you believe that like a random blog on Instagram is telling the truth? Right. Like, we watch these major reputable news outlets and we're like, that's correct. And sometimes their facts are off. We're looking at it like that is not correct.
Because people want to talk. People are just naturally nosy. People want to talk. The thing is with this situation, with the Colin Kaepernick situation, is that, and I've said this before, I think I said this last week, we don't know all the details. Mm-hmm. We don't know everything. And sometimes we don't know the details for our good. Jay-Z has never really, when he did speak, he spoke while he was in a news conference and people didn't like it. So now that he's not speaking, people don't like it. And sometimes you just got to let things work itself out for a reason.
That's a crazy idea. What is it? Shouldn't it somewhat be illegal to be a source without them saying who you are? I feel like if you feel bold enough to speak up about it, let your name be known. Say who you are. Who is source? That seems so cowardly.
Well, you can hit the...
it's just cowardly.
You can hit the person that is reporting the source. Mm-hmm. Like if you feel like defamation of character or things like that, then you can go to the actual, say, the media outlet.
How can we do that, though? How can we do that? Because I feel like...
You put a cease and desist.
I know, but I feel helpless, honestly. You go on YouTube, you see so many stories about each and every one of us. They're so far from the truth. But what really sucks is they've got like 1 million to 2 million views. And I feel like the more divisive, the more like devious it is, right? The more views they get. Yeah. So how can these people who do this, how can they get some consequences? Like they need to be held responsible because they're ruining some people's lives out there. Yeah. And defamation of character.
They don't remember we have families.
We have lives.
We have lives.
And we have situations that affect our future. I remember when I was going through my divorce, it was insane to me that blogs were painting word by word scenarios that was actually adding fuel to the fire in which we were trying to put out. We were trying to move amicably in a way that would promote us to be happy. Situations that affect our future. I remember when I was going through my divorce, it was insane to me that blogs were painting word by word scenarios that was actually adding fuel to the fire in which we were trying to put out. We were trying to move amicably in a way that would promote us to be happy. Yeah. But when you hear and read things, you think that that person is doing a little trick on you, and then you have lawyers that are feeding things in your ears you got to do something. What are you going to do back? And it's so evil and disgusting that literally I have actually completely turned away from blogs and I've unfollowed. I re-corrected all of my algorithms so I don't even see any type of gossip or news. And I learned that you have an algorithm in your mind. When you click on something, when you deposit it, you will start to actually, your brain has this thing called RAS, and it actually plays over. So if you say to yourself, like, I'm not good enough, you will see reasons why you're not good enough. Constant every day. If you click on gossip, you will constantly see that fade of BS all the time. So you have to control your algorithm and control your actions to clean your mind and clutter.
I do want to say, I do think that there are some good blogs, and I think that there are some bad blogs. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you why. I know I can only speak for, I think, people of color blogs. For a long time, we weren't allowed into mainstream white media. Like, we don't get picked up a lot. Like, shout out to people.com because y'all pick up. OK Magazine can be, you know what I mean? But it's
Alternative
like,
press is
we
another one
do
I
need
respect.
press. In order to keep our show on,
That's right.
we need press. So I can't dog all of the
of them,
blogs.
right.
But there are some blogs that's just ridiculous, and
Tough,
sometimes
they're negative.
you have to stand up and you have to say, okay, this is ridiculous.
Yes.
You know, and
Tell us who your sources are. That's all I'm saying.
But I don't want to diss all blogs. There are some good blogs. I think the Neighborhood Talk, I think Jasmine Brand, they're
she
pretty, they try. So on that note, we have to take a break, but there's more live girl chat on the way.
So anyway, she made the comment that when she was going through her divorce, there was so much going on in the media, and she didn't appreciate anonymous sources leaking stuff to the media because they were trying to quell down their divorce in the media, and anonymous sources were basically lighting it up. And they asked me how I felt about that because I reported on Jeannie Mai's divorce. And the way I feel, I don't think she was referencing me because I wasn't using no anonymous source. Like the source was Freddie Hartai's new wife. That's who the source was. She had written a letter to a lot of us YouTubers, and I think it even made it to People magazine because she didn't have a platform and Freddie didn't have a platform. But Jeannie Mai was talking about Freddie on The Real, that huge platform. The letter was kind of like in response. Like she wanted to respond to some of the things that Jeannie Mai was saying. So the reporting I saw, my reporting and the other videos I saw on YouTube were reading that letter. Like they were, it wasn't an anonymous source. Everyone knows who the source was. And so I didn't take it personal what she said, but at the same time, I didn't like what she said when she made the comment that how could you have credibility on something you started yourself? Now that did rub me the wrong way. Because I've started my blog myself. My platform is just basically a team of me. It's me in the she shed doing it. Me in the she shed doing what I do. And I just feel like you don't need permission to live your dream. If you want to be a blogger, a reporter, or whatever you want to do, you don't need permission. You don't need somebody to hire you. Like, I will say you do need education, and I'm a very educated person. I have 3 degrees. I'm not starting from scratch. I'm standing on 3 degrees. Right now, I'm standing on these degrees. So, and I also feel like even if I didn't have degrees, credibility is something you build. It's not something that's given to you. Like just because you were hired by a certain news station doesn't mean you're automatically credible to the people watching you. The people watching you have to see you build credibility day by day and story by story. And I feel like for the 3 years that I've been on YouTube, that's what I've been doing. I've been building my credibility day by day and story by story. And I appreciate Lonnie for saying that some independent bloggers like Kyle Anthony, who runs the Neighborhood Talk, and Jasmine Brand, who runs JasmineBrand.com, she pointed out how they are good bloggers and they're independent bloggers. They started their platform themselves. And I appreciate Lonnie so much for pointing that out, that just because you started it yourself doesn't mean that you don't have credibility. So for the person who asked me about what Jeannie said, I could care less with what she said about her divorce and the reporting on her divorce. Because like I said, my source wasn't anonymous. But what I do care about is her even putting in people's ear the thought that you're not credible if you're doing something yourself. That's a negative thought. And we reject all negative thoughts. We rebuke that negative thought. So just because, for example, Jeannie Mai, just because The Real hired her doesn't make her credible, in my opinion. What makes you credible is what you've built on your own, day by day, comment by comment, story by story. Credibility is something that you build on your own. And I feel like that's something that I built on my own, story by story, video by video, by reporting with accuracy and integrity. And I'm going to get to this integrity. That's how you build credibility. And there are things that I was told about Jeannie Mai, personal things about her and her intimate life. I'm going to just put it that way, her intimate life, that I have not reported on, because of my integrity. So if you want to talk about credibility, credibility is not just what you report on, it's also what you don't report on. Yeah, so that's how I feel about it. I don't know. The person who asked me about it, I don't know if they want their name out there, but yeah, that's how I feel.